Tonight, a new COVID case is recorded, but no link established as yet. The ICA president welcomes the new parole system, but debates the choices. And Recover St. Lucia launches a food voucher initiative in response to the hardships brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. The details of these stories and more are coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Friday, the 18th of December, 2020. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. I'm Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. The Ministry of Health today, Friday, out of a batch of 157 tests conducted, received confirmation of one new case of COVID-19. This brings the total number of cases diagnosed in country to date to 280. Case number 280 is a 33-year-old female from Grosley. She presented at a community respiratory clinic where she was assessed and tested for COVID-19. Contact tracing is currently ongoing and an epidemiological link has not been able to be established for the case at this point in time. A total of 7 recoveries were also reported by the ministry. This reduces the number of active cases in country to 22. At present, all active cases are stable and none are in critical care. As we enter into the weekend before the celebration of Christmas, the Health Ministry reminds everyone that as they make the usual visits to the supermarkets, stores, and social engagements, to be mindful of the guidelines that are being promoted to protect the health and the safety of every citizen. It is worthwhile to take time to plan before going shopping, to limit the amount of time spent out shopping and interacting in public spaces. Additionally, upon returning home from public places, it is important to first and foremost devote time to properly washing hands with soap and flowing water before attending to anything in the home. In other news, in a historic parole hearing, 2 men convicted of murder were granted parole. President of the Ayanola Council for the Advancement of Rastafari, Aaron Alexander, says it is a step in the right direction for St. Lucia's justice system for there to be a parole board. But he says there is a lot more that needs to be done and considered. Genevieve Gonzague reports.
There has been mixed reaction in the public domain concerning the 2 individuals who were offered parole after serving more than 20 years of their sentences for murder. The Ayanola Council for the Advancement of Rastafari has been agitating for the legalization of cannabis, expunging of records, and release of individuals who were incarcerated for small quantities of cannabis. Aaron Ras Iron Alexander says while a parole system is commendable, he is not so sure about the choice of parolees.
We should always crawl before we walk. And there are other smaller cases that people are in prison for lengthy periods, you know. I feel these cases should have been considered first. But the parole board, I don't know, in their wisdom, whoever is advising them or in their own wisdom, if they feel that is the place to start, I mean, who am I to tell them otherwise? But as the John public, I mean, we have our 2 cents to share, and we believe that there are people languishing in prison for more, minor crimes and misdemeanors and non-violent crimes and so on, especially for possession of cannabis and these issues. We believe the wheels of justice should turn in favor of these people first, and even to the extent of starting to expunge people's records from, their criminal records for possession of cannabis and so on, and even opening the prison gates and release the people that they have there, incarcerated for small quantities of cannabis.
Nonetheless, he says, the new system shows that the wheels of justice are churning.
Prison is supposed to rehabilitate and reform people, and when you notice the changes in people and they have spent a substantial amount of time in prison already, it would be good that you consider giving them some level of freedom. So I'm all for that. I also believe in witness protection programs for persons. These are some of the other things, and offering rewards and ensuring that you probably have to change people's identity, people who are witness to serious crimes and so on. So I believe there's a lot more that the justice system needs to do, but the parole board is certainly a step in the right direction.
Given that this is the very first parole hearing to ever take place in St. Lucia, Minister for National Security Hermangild Francis says the process will continue and there will be more hearings. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
A group of NGOs, CBOs and FBOs were the recipients of food vouchers from the first ever Food Voucher Initiative, which falls under the Food Security Initiative of Recover St. Lucia. The event saw a number of companies coming together to give back to those hardest hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. Rochelle Gonzalez was present and filed this report.
The Bay Gardens Marina Haven in Rodney Bay, Grosley was the venue on Friday morning for the formal launch of the Food Voucher Initiative, which was the first major undertaking of the Food Security Committee of the Recover St. Lucia Initiative. During this launch, 1,500 food vouchers were handed over to representatives of NGOs, CBOs, and FBOs for redistribution to deserving people who fall under their respective groups. Chair of Recover St. Lucia Resource Mobilization Committee, Sinovnik Destang, said the initiative has a goal to play a part in ensuring that St. Lucia recovers fully from the COVID-19 pandemic and was started by several segments of the business community.
We were able to secure quite a bit of funding today. About 2 weeks ago, we got about 160,000 from the St. Lucia Hospitality and Tourism Association's Tourism Enhancement Fund, as well as some from James Cobb Construction. Today, we were able to get about $70,000 in commitments from a number of different parties. We've been able to get quite a bit of support from the business community, but we still have quite a ways to go. The work of Recover St. Lucia is really just beginning, and we are looking to do well over $1 million worth of projects in the coming 6 to 12 months. So we've been able to reach about a quarter of the way to our funding goal, but we're really imploring the business community and civil society, even individuals, to come forward with whatever donations or support you can provide, whether it's in cash or in kind. We've got a great group of professionals and persons from society who are working together on this unprecedented initiative, and you can be sure that any funds that you donated will be very well accounted for and put to extremely good causes.
Winston Anderson, who is a member of the steering committee for Recover St. Lucia, said the initiative has shown the true meaning of strength in unity.
I think the pandemic has taught us many lessons across the world. But if I take it home to St. Lucia, what this has told us is how impactful and how powerful we all can be if we work together. How much we can achieve if both big organizations, small entities combine and help each other. And in fact, our theme song speaks directly to that when we lend a helping hand, when we all help each other, the miracle that can sing. So this is what the movement, I think, is showing, and for what we've achieved in a short time.
After the ceremony, a few of the recipients showed their gratitude.
On behalf of the ICA organization, I'm very proud and pleased to be the recipient of this, timely donation on behalf, from the Recover St. Lucia initiative. These are food vouchers valued at $150 each, and ICA has received about 50 of them, and they will be distributed through our various subcommittees and mansions toward needy families, in this tight Christmas season compared to normal,
We would like to thank Recover St. Lucia for considering our families and the children that we work with to include us in this, recovery of the island, so to speak, after COVID-19. And we're really appreciative. The donation would actually go a really long way in helping our vulnerable children and their families.
We received donations on behalf of the 5 Lions Clubs who submitted names of vulnerable persons in the various communities. We have clubs in Grosley, Meku, Soufrière, Vieux Fort, and Castries. So we received those donations on behalf of the clubs who would be making presentations to the needy in the community.
The venture was kick-started during the historic launch of the Recover St. Lucia initiative, which saw Prime Minister Alan Chastanet and Leader of the Opposition Philip J. Pierre put their differences aside to come together to sign a memorandum of understanding pledging to support the mobilization of resources and expertise towards the success of the undertaking. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
Meanwhile, speaking at the formal launch of the Food Voucher Initiative, Aaron Alexander, who is part of the committee, says the focus of the movement is to go beyond simply giving away food vouchers. Rather, it is pushing to help those most in need with the task of finding employment.
Following the Friday morning launch of the Food Voucher Initiative, which was the first major undertaking of the Food Security Committee of the Recover St. Lucia Initiative, the co-chair of the initiative's Food Security Subcommittee, Aaron Alexander, said one important component of the program sees people being given the opportunity to find ways to stay off the breadline for the unforeseeable future. Alexander said the Food Security Committee focuses on the food hamper distribution program, which targets persons who have been displaced.
Well, the Food Security Committee, Subcommittee of Recover St. Lucia Initiative, we have been brainstorming, we have been thinking of, how we could assist our brothers and sisters in this time of need, especially those who've been affected by the pandemic. And one of the things we came up with in the short term, especially for the festive season, is to ensure that we can feed our people. And in that vein, we came up with this initiative to feed 500 families. And we went out there mobilizing resources, speaking with our resource mobilization chairperson, subcommittee. And this all came together with donors who came on board and assisted and put some monies towards the initiative. And today is the culmination of all those efforts.
Alexander, on the other hand, said the drive does not end with the voucher distribution. He said the initiative will be beneficial to many.
The whole Recover St. Lucia initiative itself on a grander scale, we are trying to see how best we could get employment opportunities for persons as well. So we are even asking business places out there who are able to absorb maybe 2 or 3 persons for the festive season. As you know, businesses might increase and people might be more busy and so on. So we're asking business places out there, if you could absorb 2 or 3 persons, those persons who've been laid off, persons who've been made redundant and all these things from the tourism sector, to take on a 1 or 2 other persons for the festive season, so people could have some form of short-term employment for them to actually gain, so they could put food on the table for their families as well. So the Recover St. Lucia initiative, we're looking at all these areas as well.
ICAR received 50 food vouchers to distribute to families most in need. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
Stay with us. Still to come, ICAR doubles down on opposition to mandatory vaccines. Do Something Different makes a call for free sanitary products for girls. And Feed the Poor Ministries feeds over 100 needy people in the city of Castries.